Welcome back, episode 41 of Revisited, because we are out of Fairy Tale Month.
Blessedly.
Blessed be. And since I won, I don't even remember what it was about.
I do not remember either, and that's fine.
I think it was either Nux or Cosmo.
I'll say it was some bull crap, and I'll just leave it at that, because I'm sure it was.
Because I won?
Yes.
But I never went, it's bullcrap all them times you won.
You're a better man than me.
So
I don't remember what happened. I just don't agree with it.
I don't know. I have no stake in this, but I have all the stakes. So we're talking about Hamon Beat's video, Fate in Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. We revisited him once before, talking about how King Crimson worked, and a lot had to do with the inner workings of Fate and how you needed to understand it in Jojo's. And because of that, it seems like a good complementary piece for that video to revisit this one as well. There's nothing for you to say.
I'm not looking forward to this.
Let's just get into it then. I mean, it's a video.
Hamon Beat!
I like the intro. It's a fun intro. It belies what's coming up next.
Across all of the supernatural forces in Jojo, by far the most omnipresent of them is Fate. The presence of Fate can be seen in every part from the original universe of Jojo. It informs everything that the characters do.
It does not.
And if it does, it's uninteresting.
It informs them, no. Because that would mean they know what's going to happen and they're working within the bounds of that. There are very few characters that know anything about Fate or the fate to come. So to say that they're being informed by it, no.
Now, Zeppeli had one of the best moments in JoJo by going, this is just what's going to happen. I'm going to die here, but I need to help to save the world. That was a magnificent moment. But, what other, there's no real other people playing into Fate that produces a moment like that. It's all just what's going to happen is going to happen. And they just say Fate and people clap.
Yeah, Kira's reset day was just like, cup's gonna break, so it's gonna break no matter what happens. This is part of the reason I don't like the King Crimson argument, because we saw the cup breaking. We know the actions to make the cup break. So when it breaks with nobody doing anything, it's understandable that needs to happen. Mm-hmm. As opposed to just going, we're skipping seeing the cup break. The cup just breaks and it must have been Fate. I need to hit my mouse first.
And many characters are completely based on their relationship with Fate. Fate as a plot device is present in a wide variety of media, all the way back to the ancient Greeks. However, in contemporary fiction, it is often viewed as a sort of cop-out when a story has nowhere to go, or is used as a cliché in Chosen One type stories. Jojo is not excluded.
No examples. No exploration with that. Just a cop out. Chosen One type of thing.
What do I need to explain?
The only thing I can think of is Naruto, and that's about it. What's a cop out
in relation to Fate?
Yeah.
Maybe Berserk.
How?
I don't know. I just know that's a Fate thing that people talk about.
What I know is Griffith. He was a big dude, and then there was Guts. Guts joined the band of the Hawks. He wanted to leave at a time, and then Griffith fought him. And all the other times, Griffith won, but this time Guts won. Griffith began to question his place in the universe. He got captured. He got tortured. He was emaciated, couldn't move, couldn't talk. I think they cut out his tongue, something like that. He was all kinds of screwed up. He made a deal with the bailiff. He sacrificed all the band of the Hawks. Oh my goodness, spoilers for Berserk.
Oh no, I put the thing up front.
Good. Yeah. He sacrificed all the band of the Hawks. He got his body back. He became one of the 4 demons or something. Casca and Guts were left alive. Guts is now on a vengeance trip.
Okay. What part of that?
What part of that is fate? Unless there's like a line or something that I'm missing, like the sacred bailiff, the six-eyed one. That's only given to the king of kings or something like that. Unless I'm missing something like that, because I know very basic things about. I know about armor and things like that afterwards, but that's
like the overview, as opposed to the inner workings.
Yeah. So,
also, that third comment, I feel very sane. It says because you got bad eye. Yes, Trish being kidnapped in the elevator and Narancia dying were possible because fate. Golden Wind is trash. Araki isn't a perfect writer, and this part is the worst one.
Good job, Blue and Black Avatar.
From this kind of criticism, but I feel like it is unwarranted when you examine the ways that fate in JoJo differentiates itself. In this video, I will be going over how fate works in JoJo, and how it aligns itself with Araki's design philosophy. The most important thing to understand about fate in JoJo is that it is much more defined with its implementation than in other stories. In the world of JoJo, fate is a concrete, observable force in the world. Part 6 gives us the clearest definition of fate as described by Dio. His description of
So up until then, that's 5 parts where you said this is the clearest definition of fate. So up until then, I would not say that. I guess the fortune was a fate, but I wasn't thinking of it as a fate thing. I was thinking of it as he is going into his death knowing that it is his death. Not like a fate thing. It's just a good character moment outside of fate. Part 2, I'm sure he's going to give examples, but
I can't think of anything.
He's gonna give examples.
Probably the volcano erupting.
Well, that's poop.
Yes, and then Joseph surviving and stuff. Yeah,
and part 4 is just the cup, really.
Yes, Kira's reset day. Beyond that, I think there's only maybe 3 things you can point to as fate. As defined by fate, other than his Dio thing where he literally just spells out how he sees it. Even that's interpretable though, because it's just how Dio sees it.
Yeah.
You got part 1 with Zeppeli. You got part 5 with
Dia.
Not Dia. Sleeping Slaves.
Oh yeah.
And you got part 4 with Kira's reset day. Anything else is just people's interpretation. Because those are the only, clearly defined, this is fate, this is fate, this is fate thing.
Fate as gravity, and the gravity manipulation that is integral to his heaven plan is not a coincidence. Instead of being an abstract idea as it is in other media, fate...
No, it's still an abstract idea,
Yes,
dude.
not only that, but stop just berating other media without explaining yourself. You're just saying that they don't do it right, and this does it well. But yeah, it is just it's nothing. It doesn't matter. I love JoJo's outside of fate, and fate legit just sort of worsens it.
I think people's perception of fate worsens it. Because there's definitely, like you said, the Zeppeli thing is one of the best things in JoJo's, and technically that is a fate thing. Mm-hmm. So fate itself does not ruin it. It's the perception that people have that things like part 5 are amazing because of fate.
Yeah.
It is quite literally a gravitational pull, moving you along a predestined path. You could...
Okay, can I stop that then? If it's as you say and not this, that's really an abstract idea then, isn't it?
Yes.
Even though you know the quote unquote workings, but why did some things in Kira's reset day happen when it's not really like a gravity thing? Is it actual gravity? Because the part 6 was just literal gravity. So is it just like actual gravity? The cup is being pulled apart by gravity and all, and the people dying in part 4 in Kira's reset day. Is that just gravity? Or is it like a force? And force is an abstract idea.
Yes. Especially since with your perception of the King Crimson stuff, people are just floating up. So that's a literal force. The arrow, it was just like, no, I'm going over to Geo. It's nothing happened there. There's nothing physical there. So it's just a concept.
It's abstract as
You could even say the existing law of gravity itself is fate. Every person...
Sure.
No, that's not how gravity works.
That's 100%.
The gravitational pull of a planet, the mass of the planet causes
it's supposed to. And that's all that, whatever.
There's science behind actual gravity. It's not an abstract.
Or was it fated to
keep you down?
The fact that the science is in there was fated to be in there so that fate makes sense, but it's all fate anyway. So just fate.
Is fate. Every person has their own gravity, and any meeting of two people is determined by the pull between them. This idea of an...
Any meeting between two people is determined by the pull between them. Wouldn't it just be the pull itself? Wouldn't it just be fate itself and not the fate of two separate people? Because fate is just one big thing. One person's fate is not another person's fate. That's just fate entirely. It's an abstract thing, the fate of the universe.
Or is it just like Bruno's fate was to just be a low-level bum, but then he met Gio and their fate sort of mushed together? That
sounds horrible.
I don't know what he means by this. He's just using... How would he describe this without Dio's words almost exactly? Because he's just regurgitating what Dio said.
Between them.
And it doesn't make sense.
Of an abstract supernatural concept being turned scientific is extremely common among Araki's work. The concept of a gravity between people has been explored since long before Part 6. Part 4 was the introduction of the stand arrow and the idea of stand users being drawn to each other. The arrow is known to seek out those with potential, enough that Kira's father was able to use it like a dowsing rod, letting it point to where it wanted to go. It may have been this seeking of potential that caused the meteor to gravitate towards Earth in the first place. The gravity of the human spirit drew it in. Dio's character...
So you're just using gravity to make your point. The gravity of the human spirit. Gravity is a physical thing. Now you're using a metaphysical thing to explain a physical thing.
And does fate work within a distance? Or is it just like that meteor was 7 trillion light years away and then it felt the force of gravity of human spirit, which means there's just no other life forms out there. Even though the arrow itself it contains an alien virus within it, and how did it get that if it doesn't have bacteria and life forms out there? But I guess we're just not paying attention to that, huh? Whatever.
I guess not. But yeah, it's a very odd thing, because even if you just go, yeah, it was just fated to be here, that's boring. I prefer coincidences are kind of better, because it could have just happened. It was just fated to happen. So like you said, the rock traveled from 7 trillion light years away. There's no other meteor that clashed into it. It was just drawn here by the magnetism, by the gravity of the human spirit. That's just boring.
And then it didn't. The rock landed and it didn't try to shoot into any of the humans. It just sat there until humans got there.
But the people were drawn to it by fate. So it's all just fate.
So the rock flies thanks to fate.
Yes.
It lands thanks to fate. Yes. The arrow itself will fly thanks to fate.
Yes.
But the rock itself will not fly towards a thing that is the heaviest fate around it.
Correct.
So Earth is just the greatest fate ball in the universe.
Appears so. How boring is that?
That sounds so...
It sounds terrible. And I don't want characters to be on a predetermined path. It's terrible, because you go, whatever they do, whatever they say, they can't help it because it's just what they were supposed to say.
Yeah, if there's fate and stuff, there's no free will. It sucks. I hate that.
It's terrible.
Because if something doesn't happen, if something is fated to happen and it doesn't happen, then it was never fate. Fate is the final thing that happened. It's fated. You cannot change it. You cannot alter it. Otherwise, it was not fate. You're doing the thing you were always meant to do within the workings of fate. And if that's the case, whatever you say, do, act upon, kill, hurt, love. It's all fated, so it's all meaningless.
But people can just dodge that. If something is fated to happen and it doesn't happen, well, then it wasn't fated to happen. No, they could just dodge that by going, no, you believe that it was fated to happen, but this actual subversion of fate was fated to happen.
So it was fated to happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, then that's what I said.
Yeah. So it's
that would be my answer to that person. That's what I said.
It's just, yeah. So it's just fated to happen.
Yes.
So whatever's, it's just fated to happen.
Yes.
So it's fine. It's fine.
It's not fine. It's terrible.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
It takes away all agency from characters.
I don't see
from the
why,
plot, everything.
I don't see why people are abdicating this so hard. Just let it be a thing. Let Dia be wrong about fate, and let it move on. Like the blood thing in Polnareff's eyes. Was he fated to have blood in his eyes? And if he was, why did Dia put the blood in his eyes and not just unskip the time and the blood would just be there?
Huh? What? Sorry, what? We've already discussed this. Man. Why did Dia hit the fortune teller instead of just walking up the block and letting him be beaten up? Because, that's not how fate works? Or it only works that way when it's convenient?
His philosophy is an important topic when it comes to this discussion. In part 1, his initial goal was to take control of the Joestar family. After rejecting his humanity, his ambition was extended to the country and later the entire world. This is not a complex goal, but even as early as part 1, we can see some of the seeds of his later motivation. He had a very traumatic childhood, and that, along with his conflict with Jonathan, would influence the philosophy he developed later. After his defeat, Dio spent 100 years at the bottom.
So we can see how his later actions come into play. And because of his upbringing and his rivalry with Jonathan, it influenced his further actions moving on. You didn't explain exactly how.
Fate.
I don't see why he would just go, yeah, he was influenced by this and move on. Not explain it. Why not?
Maybe he'll explain it later.
This was the time to do so. He done moved on to after he's dead. He done skipped 2 whole parts.
Spent 100 years at the bottom of the ocean. He was conscious during this time and probably had quite a lot to think about. While it may not be necessary for explaining what comes later, I do believe that Dio reached some form of enlightenment during his time spent here. After emerging, Dio befriended the fortune teller Enya, and it is at this point that he reached an understanding of fate. Dio's true goal is to achieve his idea of heaven. Heaven is a state of mind in which you are completely aware of your destiny and come to accept it. As someone with a turbulent childhood and who is endlessly fated to have conflict with the Joestars, this would be the ideal state of being for someone like Dio. In order for heaven to be attained, time must be accelerated to the singularity.
Okay. Was this his goal in part 3? Or was it just to kill the Joestars?
That's what it sounded like. This was never explained nor explored in part 3. It was just like, in part 6, this was his plan.
We're giving him retroactive motivation to tie it all in.
Yes.
That's not like...
That's not... You're using in part 3 he was just kill Joestars, rule the world. Now you're just like, no, but it was actually to have people. He never expressed that in part 3.
Not once, as far as I remember. But now it's always been his goal, and it makes sense.
And the universe is recreated. All living beings are lifted out of the universe and placed back in with the memories of their previous experiences. Because of this, they are aware of everything that will ever happen to them.
No, it's a different universe. Unless you restarted it and set everything on its same path. Is that what happened?
And if you know everything that's gonna happen to you, are you set on that path of it happening to you, or can you subvert that and thus it doesn't happen, and now you don't, your heaven thing is failed because now you don't know what's gonna happen to you.
Here's the problem with that. When do you get your memories? Like, when are you dropped in? Is it the exact same day? Because then all you know is everything that happened to you before, which doesn't help you for the future. Or is it like, let's say, 6 months before? you're going to go, whoa, what was that? And already you're on a different path than you were originally because you stopped and thought about something. So now you're not doing the exact same action for the next 6 months.
Yep. You're 1 second off. So
you're 1 to 2 seconds off.
You didn't step on that ant, and that ant flew into somebody's window, and that caused them to crash or whatever. That's how this goes. Please, why did you choose this video? We could have done something fun instead of this concept garbage.
We got to get the concept stuff out the way. The people demand it. Nobody likes this.
Made in Heaven is the only stand capable of doing this, and understanding the way that it is created is essential to understanding fate. Dio's soul was reborn through the green baby, which is essentially his will to attain heaven given form as a living being. This fused with Poochie and began changing his stand into Sea Moon, which is able to manipulate gravity. It is said to us that gravity and time are one and the same, so when Sea Moon...
It's sad, so it's fine.
What does it say? Has proven that there is a special relationship between gravity and time. Not that they're one and the same, that there is a special relationship between the two.
That's not what it says.
I'm literally reading what he highlighted.
That's not what it says, Hamon Beat. Why did you say that's what it says?
That's not what it's about, sir.
There's a special relationship. They're one and the same, by the way.
So what happened there?
Why would you highlight something that doesn't prove your point?
That gravity and time are one and the same. So when Sea Moon...
So he's all... Whatever he says from here on about Sea Moon is false. Because premise 1 is false.
Yeah, anything he extrapolates, any type of thing. See, this is one of those things we were talking about yesterday with opinions being wrong. His opinion of what Sea Moon does is going to be wrong if he believes gravity and time are the same based on what we see here. When it says it's a special relationship between the two, which means they are two separate constructs, but they act together in a special way.
Its powers at certain coordinates, and with certain gravitational influences, it can manipulate time itself. Not only are gravity and time one and the same...
Okay, so it needs a certain gravitational pull in order to affect time, which means it's not one and the same. Since Poochie controls gravity, he would just be able to control time. But he needs a special gravitational pull to do so, as you just said. So they are, again, not one and the same.
Not only are gravity and time one and the same, but fate is included in that as well.
Sure, gravity, time, and fate, all the same. All one and the same. So nothing means anything, essentially. Gravity, well, you could just say that was fate. Time, also fate. Fate, that's gravity.
Father Enrico Pucci is obsessed with the idea of overcoming his destiny. And finally, he has managed to obtain the ability to speed up time, the ability that Dio once pursued. Where does it say that fate is tied into that?
Why did he highlight this?
Because you can extrapolate from that, and finally he has managed to obtain the ability to speed up time, which means he's able to control whatever his destiny is through speeding up time. But that does not mean they're one and the same.
In this new universe, Poochie gains control over fate to create heaven. Dio's idea of heaven is an inherently complacent one, since it is not just knowing your own future, but completely coming to terms with it. This mindset is perfectly in line.
So did Poochie come to terms with his mindset of he's going to die being crushed by weather report?
Even though he wanted to overcome it as opposed to accept it. But keep going.
So there's no way that he could have, because by him dying, the universes get reset and nobody knows what they're going to do. So he can't be like, I'm going to accept my destiny of dying and completely screwing up my entire plan that up until this moment. So he must not have known. And if he doesn't know, then his plan didn't work.
called Peace of Mind in Part 3. If you completely accept fate, good...
What? Because that's nothing. Every single person tries to survive because they desire peace of mind. The struggle to acquire fame, power over others, and money is all towards this end. Marriage and friendships are also for this purpose. To serve others, to fight for war and peace, all of these are attempts to sustain peace of mind. The search for peace of mind is the ultimate goal of all human beings. What, in that sense, anything about fate? They desire peace of mind.
Yeah.
Whatever that peace of mind is the desire of that human being to get there.
You know what Kira's peace of mind was? Killing people comfortably and living quietly.
You know what Kira's peace of mind was? Taking over the world and killing the Joestars. The struggle to acquire fame, power over others, and money is all towards this end. Marriage and friendships as well. Fighting, peace, war, all to sustain it. The search for it is the ultimate goal. What in that talks about fate? You're saying it's encapsulated in this speech that you showed, unless there's something else you're not showing. I don't know why you wouldn't use that as evidence. What are you talking about?
He must just be saying that this peace of mind is just the heaven as shown later, and no matter what, it makes sense now.
This mindset is perfectly in line with what Dio called peace of mind in Part 3. If you completely accept fate, good or bad, you'll be at peace.
Sure.
Where is that?
It's right there. Oh, he is using whatever he can to say whatever he can. This is just I got my premise, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to make it true. And this is just some complete and total garbage.
Now, this would be a good point to bring up Zeppeli, and I wonder if he does. Because Zeppeli accepted it, and he just went, this is what it's gonna be.
Pucci's ideology is similar to Dio's. The traumatic events he experienced as a young man were so severe that he became obsessed with the sequence of events. When he examined it, he could not determine whose fault it really was. Was it solely the actions of the people Pucci hired? He was the one that hired them after all, and he is the one that omitted the information that could have avoided the situation entirely. Was it Pucci's fault for acting so harshly after hearing the confession? Or is the mother the one at fault for stealing Wes in the first place? But even then, her actions were influenced by her own child's death, and what could have predated that? Could this all have been predetermined by some event that happened long before anyone was aware? His fixation on how Perla's death happened made Dio's words ring true to him. All of these events and chance meetings that have happened were due to the unseen influence of gravity. He would eventually seek out Dio and begin to understand fate.
So they were just fated to meet.
Yes.
And that's boring.
So why is Pucci even sad if it was always fated to be that way
if
anyway?
this is just fated to happen,
shouldn't he accept it?
Yeah.
Which is what Dio, accepting it good or bad? No, he wants to overcome it and change it, right? To become his perfect world. So, what's this about?
yeah, it's about accepting fate and having that peace of mind that whatever is gonna happen to you is gonna happen, but
Nobody's really at fault because fate was, it's just what was supposed to happen.
It was just supposed to happen, and Pucci's like, no, so I'm gonna
obtain Dio's dream of getting to heaven and changing things with gravity. So that was Dio's dream, as opposed to just obtaining peace of mind. It was to change things. It wasn't to accept fate. It was to change it how you want it.
Whew.
Due to the unseen influence of gravity. He would eventually seek out Dio and begin to understand fate, fully committing himself to creating heaven. In a world where all people can know and accept their destiny, the internal trauma from what happened to Perla can be averted. Kira is similar to Dio in many ways.
So it's about people knowing and accepting their destiny. That is the
to avoid trauma.
To avoid trauma. So that's the end all be all. I mean, that's
similar to Dio in many ways.
Man.
Just like Dio, he had a troublesome childhood, which eventually led to him committing great atrocities. Their main similarity, however, is their outlook on life.
He didn't have did he say a troublesome or troubling?
Troubled.
Well, he didn't.
Oh.
Kira.
Just like Dio, he had a troublesome childhood.
Troublesome.
Well, he didn't. He most certainly didn't. He was a kid who was loved by his parents.
He was a pretty much B student all through his life. BC, purposefully.
What troublesome things was there other than the hand thing? And that's just a sexual fetish. And if you're saying sexual fetishes is troublesome, well, and we don't know exactly outside of I think that Raimi might have been his first one. Doesn't matter. But
I think he was.
But he was 18 at that point, and that is no longer 18, 16. He was around that age, and that's no longer a child really. So he didn't have a troublesome childhood.
I guess trying to suppress his desires would be the troublesome part.
That's not troublesome.
It is if the desires are kind of.
It's just hands.
I mean, he kills people and takes their hands. Sure. Like it goes way beyond. I just really like your hands.
But again, we only know that. We don't know if he was suppressing it, or we don't know because it wasn't a. People don't just go fetish, boom, I'm into this. It's a workup sort of thing. It's I'm into this, and then that leads to this, and it gets a little bit deeper and deeper. It's like, oh, I like feet, and I like tickling as well, and I like feet being put into peanut butter and stepping on roaches and crap like that.
I disagree. I think you are just turned on by a certain thing.
Sure.
And sure, you try to get the mechanics of it, but the initial thing is just like that's what I'm into.
No, but I'm sure he did not go, I need to cut off hands.
No, definitely not.
That's my argument. It's not, he did not go, that's my fetish and I'm troubled because I need to cut off hands. I'm sure he was just like 7 years old, and then from 7 to 10 it was just like looking at hands, and then from 10 to like 13 it was hands being put in marshmallows, and then he worked up to just being like, I need that hand.
Led to him committing great atrocities. Their main similarity, however, is their outlook on life. Kira's goal is to have a quiet life, very much in line with Dio's idea of peace of mind. At times, Kira seems to be blessed by fate, and he is surrounded by an inhuman amount of good luck. He was given the perfect...
Dude, Kira is really conniving. Some of it is absolute luck, but everybody has some form of luck.
Yeah, luck does not mean that it was fate.
This man is just stupid smart.
He's just lucky and smart, and sometimes things just go his way.
An inhuman amount of good luck. He was given the perfect stand for destroying evidence, and has succeeded in...
Isn't it said that everybody's stand is supposed to be a reflection of their soul?
Yeah.
Or is that but that's also just an abstract concept for us, an abstract thought. Because it's never spelled out specifically it just so happens that a lot of people that get stands, it's pretty much what they want.
Yeah. And
has succeeded.
Let's put it like this. There's for destroying people's bodies, let's go harvest. Harvest with enough time can chop up a body to enough small pieces that it's unrecognizable. The hand can swipe people away, so that will also be perfect for Kira. Heaven's Door, he can just go... If he can knock people back into such a far... Can it work on dead bodies? What Heaven's Door?
Probably.
Okay, so you can just be like, once I'm done with you, you will fold yourself into such a small square that nobody will be able to find you.
But Kira doesn't even really care about killing. He cares about hands.
Yeah.
So he could cut off somebody's hand and go Heaven's Door. You remember losing your hand in an auto accident.
Yeah. He said that he has a fetish and he's just trying to act upon it in the best possible way. And there's no way other than killing somebody to get their hand other than something like Heaven's Door. Because if you cut off somebody's hand, you're like, you cut off my hand for. You can't just peace out. They done saw your face.
And for destroying evidence, and has succeeded in staying completely free of suspicion. His own gravity was even strong enough to draw the arrow to him a second time.
That's stupid.
That was gravity. It was fate. And it was time as well.
What was the third thing? Fate, time, gravity. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it was all three of those. I mean, it's just something that happened. It doesn't need to be that he was fated to. The arrow seeks out. Thing. The arrow seeks out strong-willed people and blah blah blah. It just so happened to seek him out because he needed it at that time.
It's stupid.
It's stupid. But
because it causes problems when throughout the parts people need things, and like, let's even go to part 5. Why in that specific moment did it fly to Geo? Now, it was after Bruno's death, but there was still some more stuff after that. So why didn't it instantly just go, okay, you're Geo, you've accepted everything now. Here you go. There's no reason an arrow would fly to you. There's no reason an arrow would stab you. It's a stupid thing. Unless you're working into the workings of fate. It can't just be something Araki needs to happen.
Yeah. No, it needs to be explained.
It can't just be a mystery with no real answer. That's purposefully open-ended so people can go, what was this, fate?
Giving him a nearly foolproof method of avoiding detection. However, even with all of this, he was still overcome, and his luck ironically disappeared. Kira's flaw...
His luck ironically disappeared. What was the irony of his luck not happening at this specific moment? What was the irony of his luck disappearing?
I guess...
Maybe he's saying, ironically, his face is gone? Was that although he only wanted to have a quiet life, he led a lifestyle...
Nope, never mind.
Nope, he just said, ironically, his luck ran out at this moment.
Because I thought I had cut him off and he was going to say, ironically, his luck ran out and he became as anonymous as he wanted to because his head was crushed. But no, ironically, his luck just ran out at this moment. For what reason?
Yeah, maybe he's just saying that there was a bunch of different moments where he was extremely lucky and it helped out, and now this one time that it doesn't help out is the time that leads to his death.
All the other ones would have too.
But he does not explain that. So, maybe it's just
ironically
it's just ironic. You know what I'm saying?
Ironically, his luck runs out now.
Yep, very ironic, wasn't it? I thought it was.
This is
ironic, by the way. It's very ironic.
However, even with all of this, he was still overcome, and his luck ironically disappeared. Kira's flaw was that although he only wanted to have a quiet life, he led a lifestyle that was inherently chaotic.
So? What's that got to do with fate? Fate allowed him to do that. Fate wanted him to have his peaceful mind, right? If accepting your fate is a peaceful mind, this is Kira's fate. He just got to do this.
And he was able to get away with it, like you said, up until this moment. But for some reason, fate was just like, okay, I'm tired of you. Get your head crushed. Why was it all this time fate was okay with killing him, with him killing people, but then all of a sudden it's bad and now he must be punished in the most cruelly ironic way?
The peace of mind of a person is different depending on the person. It's not just one big human's peace of mind is this. So it's not really a flaw of Kira when his peace of mind is living a peaceful, quiet life. He still wants to do that, but he cannot control this.
Yeah. And what if your destiny, because the whole thing is destiny, you accept your destiny no matter what happens and you won't be troubled. What if your destiny is tomorrow you get kidnapped and tortured by the KKK? Would you just go, well,
I gotta accept it.
That's just what's gonna happen.
I'm not gonna fight back against it.
I'd be very troubled. I'd be like, how do I avoid this? Oh, they come in here tomorrow? I'm not gonna be here tomorrow. And then you're just subverting fate. And
it presents a whole slew of problems, doesn't it?
Was that although he only wanted to have a quiet life, he led a lifestyle that was inherently chaotic. He wished to have a quiet life in spite of this, rather than accepting his own circumstances.
Pause. He is obsessed with hands. He can't accept his circumstances outside of, like you said, just doing whatever he can to express his desires. And he needs hands. How else can he get hands but with killing people? He can't just be like, I guess I'll just suppress that. No.
In his own circumstances. This contradiction eventually caused his luck and by extension
Eventually. So no matter when he died, eventually his luck was going to run out if he was killed. He got away with it for what, 15, 20, 30 years? But now, eventually his luck runs out because fate. You can excuse any time he loses to that.
Yeah. And that's just boring.
Eventually it catches up to him. Why now? What is it that changed now?
And fate, crap like fate just leads to the arrow just flying towards Jorno. You go, why did that happen?
Why did fate decide Dia now needs this? Why not all those people before?
Why?
Not all of the people he was killing. Why none of those times? Why now does Dia need to lose?
It's just a certain number of wrongdoings, I guess. Before it's just like, or maybe Gio was just like he had even more fate around him. He had more gravity, so he had more fate, and the fate was just like, oh, I need to go over to him, and then the arrow went over to him because of his gravity pulled it towards him.
That's stupid.
And that's excused, and that was good. I like it. Yo, this is terrible. This is a horrible way to think about things.
and eventually caused his luck and by extension fate to abandon him.
Yep.
If
fate was abandoning him,
his fate was always to get crushed right there. Because that's what fate is. It didn't abandon him. It did what it was supposed to do.
It played out.
It played out as it was always meant to do if fate exists, which it does in JoJo's.
So no matter
Boingo's book always happens. This was always going to happen right now. Boingo's book does not have a time frame of things happening, but it always happened. Jotaro died 3 times like in the book. 3 times!
Ridiculous. Face split. That bastard.
And in the first 2 times, one wasn't Jotaro, and the other one was during one of Kira's reset days. So it didn't actually happen. But then in the final one, it did. In part 6, he died as was shown in the book.
It happened.
Boingo's books is fate. It's gonna happen. Just follow the f***ing book. And it's gonna happen. Don't worry about it. And guess what? It always happened. So this with Kira was always going to happen. Not fate abandoning him. His fate was always for his head to get crushed by a car if fate exists, which you have established it does in JoJo's.
He has not offered any sort of alternate fates or anything. He just says that, oh, everything was fated to happen and then fate abandoned him and then he got unlucky and died.
Because he kept killing people. He killed, what, 30 people? Oh, that 31st, though, fate like, you went too far, sir.
Nah, son. Rip.
However, are not so keen to sit by and let fate happen. The character of Diavolo is very heavily based on overcoming fate. And
he never once overcomes a fate he sees.
Counterpoint. Multiple times that happened.
Name one.
That one time.
Dang.
You got me. You were fated to get me. Yeah. It's very odd that he keeps saying crap like this because, like you said, it's fated to happen and he never overcame it. He just misinterpreted it a whole lot.
Yeah, my foot's gonna be off. I gotta stop that. Oh, it wasn't my foot. Never mind. Misha's gonna shoot those bullets. Oh, he shot them bullets? Cool. What did he see that he prevented from happening? Or changed happening?
Or overcame, or anything, really.
Overcoming fate. And this becomes one of the main themes of Part 5. Diavolo's personality is steeped in paranoia and a desire to completely erase any traces of his past. His stand, King Crimson, is able to see a forecast of the future, and through his time skips, remove himself from what is fated to happen.
He's never avoided anything that was fated to happen.
Anything he's seen.
Even anything that he's seen.
Because, you got the Bruno punch where it's this close and he skips time, but he never saw that. He just skipped the time where that happens. So what happened?
Everything in the prediction is absolute, so even if he removes himself, the results of his original actions will still move along as if he were there.
You see, like the Narancia thing.
Where's this proven? And
here.
We've already went through that video. It is not proven that.
It's proven right here.
Now, it would make sense if we as the audience saw that
just once if we would have seen it. That would have been very helpful. But it would have been so bad to just see, like you said, a rock just being lifted up by fate and just being hucked at somebody.
But at least it would be explained. It would be explored. It would be set up, and it would be paid off. If Diavolo was sitting there and he had the image of Trish and everything he does in regards to Trish, and then he just sat up there on the elevator and just waited for it to happen, I would go, okay, so that's just what happens every time. But you're only allowing this to happen based off your perception of what fate is, because you apparently think fate equal gravity equal time equal fate.
Wait a second. Let's take the rock thing, for example. Dia sees that the rock is fated to just float up and then hit somebody.
You're wrong. He sees he's fated to throw the rock and hit somebody.
And so
he skipped the time, removes himself from there, but the rock still gets thrown and hits somebody. That's what they say happens.
Okay, so yeah, I remember the whole universe thing and what Geo sees would just be a rock being hucked at somebody.
That's what they think he sees. That's what Hamon Beat thinks happens.
Or the alternate, he actually does it, but everybody is made unaware once time restarts again for some reason, even though it was fated to happen and all this stuff. And
again,
it's silly to think like that.
If Bruno's head was turned and he was put in a punching motion, I would say absolutely, because everything he does to affect a person or a thing still happens. But the people around him and the things around him are not shifted or moved or anything.
Not at all. Not whatsoever.
So he sees himself taking Trish. He has no fight with Bruno. He just goes back up there. Bruno's trying to fight, but he can't do nothing. So he goes back up there. And because of this, Trish is holding Bruno's hand. Then all of a sudden, her hand gets cut off. She doesn't scream or anything. This all has to happen in an instant. Mm-hmm. A literal instant. Do you understand that? She has to get her arm cut off. She has to not be screaming because she would have been screaming in that original time. Because he's affecting that now. So, hand cut off. Screaming. Flying up. No words. No sounds. No movement. It just happened.
Nothing. And then time resumes and Bruno's like, what?
What's happening here?
What is happening? You can't just go, she just floats up. and
because of fate.
Because of fate. Those 5 seconds that he skipped still happened.
Even if he's not there to make them happen.
It still happened. So Trish still floated up in Bruno's eyes and he did not perceive it whatsoever. It's fine.
Pushed along by a form of gravity, Diavolo is constantly trying to best fate at the expense of countless people around him. However, Diavolo is not really escaping fate like he wishes. As we know from part 6, fate can be changed, but the changing of fate is still predestined.
Yeah, see, I told you. So you were fated to change your fate, but you didn't know that it was your level 2 fate. You were like, I could change my fate. My fate is to go downstairs, but I'm going to go to the bathroom. But then you were tricked into thinking that you were supposed to go downstairs when you were actually supposed to go into the bathroom.
So it was always fate no matter what.
Yes. So no matter what you do, no matter what subversions you think you're doing of fate, you didn't. It's always fate. It was always supposed to happen, and that's boring. Characters have no agency. Characters have no... It doesn't matter that Joseph's funny. It doesn't matter that Josuke is quirky. It's all just fate. No matter what...
He's supposed to be that way.
He's supposed to be that way. He's supposed to... Hayato's supposed to willingly just like blow me up just so... Because you can heal me instead of blowing yourself up. That wasn't a heroic act. That was fate. He was supposed to do that.
Koichi didn't grow.
No, he was just fated to get that stand.
Fate just put him on the checkpoint he was supposed to be
Nothing matters if
Nothing
you just
matters.
go fate like that.
Not a single thing. Everything is already predestined. Nothing matters.
You can't go, wow, that was a great character moment. You have to go, wow, I'm glad fate allowed that to happen. And that's boring. Unless we're not talking about fate. Unless we're talking about, hey, that was a great character moment instead of I'm glad fate allowed that to happen. And if we're talking like that, stop bringing up fate like this. Sick of it.
On top of that, you're going, this is my evidence. And the person says, perhaps, although it is said that humans... Which means there is no rules or laws governing this way of thinking. This is just this person's interpretation in the manga itself of what's happening. Why is this dude popular? These arguments are horrendous.
But they justify things to people. They allow it to be better because it's not just...
Hey, just like part 5.
No, you can't just like part 5. You have to like it and also go, it's good because not only are the fights good,
how can
the
I
characters
like it
good,
if it's
blah,
not
blah,
good?
blah, 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 blah. You also got the prevalent theme of fate. And you also got that to make it not only good, but smart. Dragon Ball, you can be like, oh yeah, that's good. His fight is good, whatever, character development. But this also has the prevailing theme of fate, so you go as smart as well. Araki thought these things out and played fate into it and then subverted fate, but he actually didn't because fate is always supposed to happen. Hey, why were only 3 people in that rock? Doesn't matter. They were the 3 people that were fated to be in that rock.
To all of our fans, I have never asked anything of you guys. Not a once.
Uh-oh. Tread carefully. Tread lightly.
Clip this if you want. Or just take what I said.
I potentially don't agree with whatever he's going to say, but let's hear it out.
Get us on a Discord call with any of these Part 5 Fate people. Hamon Beat, Oceanus, I don't care. We will not be antagonistic. We will debate loudly because that's what we do.
It's not going to happen.
I don't care. Just try. Because I need this explained. I don't care if I'm wrong. I just want to learn. What are you talking about? Because based on this, it is still that ethereal concept you said it wasn't. When you got these people philosophizing right here of just going, although it is said, perhaps. Which just means this is my way of thinking person that's talking right now.
Who said that? Do they have
Don't even care.
Destiny?
Don't even
Do they have
care.
any precog? Was this Ringo Road again? Where he
Do not care. Ringo Road again was tremendous.
Man, wait. How does that play into Destiny?
It was always supposed to happen.
He was always supposed to rewind that time, and they were supposed to remember. And Yep. So that ties into Destiny as well. No matter what happened, fate. It's all just fate, and it doesn't matter. We're not going to get into any calls about that because we are too antagonistic about fate.
We are absolutely antagonistic, but we are not mean about it.
True.
In, whenever we debate these people, like these Bleach people, dude, listen, whenever that thing is finished up and I upload it, just listen to how nice we are. Even when you're mad, you're just being the nice, you're like, no, please, just answer the question. Now that's antagonistic, it's an antagonistic tone, but you're being as nice as humanly possible. We're being so nice.
Now, here... It sounds like if you were to watch this video and then the basically any part 5 video, it sounds like our minds can't be changed. So it sounds like the person who would debate us would be like, this is a waste of time Even though you just said it's about gaining the knowledge of how this works. All right.
On top of that, these people are trying to clarify things, and we're trying to get clarification. Mm-hmm. This is what they want. They want people like us to go, oh, now I get it.
And his King Crimson video came after this video where he was just like, people didn't understand the reasoning in that video, so I'm going to bring it over here to this video. And then that just made it worse.
And it's not like our minds can be changed, because again, with these Bleach dudes we're debating, they tell us what the Soul King is, and we go, oh, we just did not understand that.
I'm really glad that moment happened. Because that's just like, that's a pure and simple us going, yep, that is exactly what it is.
Oh, we were completely wrong about it.
We are moving on.
Dude.
We are able to understand that we were wrong and admit that we were wrong and move on because of it, as opposed to debating a single topic for an hour and a half.
I wish you would have recorded you debating old dude about themes and stuff, because you just go, yes, you did explain it later, and I misinterpreted some things. You could have clarified things better. We're both cool with this. Now let's talk some anime.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Exactly what
we
happened.
are not so pig-headed that you can't go, oh, blah, 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 blah. Because there's been people in our comments just going, you guys said this, but it's actually, and we go, oh, you're right, we were wrong. Or I never thought of it that way. That changes some things.
But we need to understand this whole universe thing, where the universe that Narancia just floats up and just gets stabbed as everybody's head is turned and nobody's looking at it. Because the King Crimson within Trish would have had to come out, and they would have had to see it. He would have had to break the bars, lift it up, break the bars, shoot the gun, whatever.
No, it's break the bars.
Break the bars.
The gun was in a different area.
Okay.
Somebody pointed it out to me.
Okay. Yeah, so he has to break the bars.
In fact,
making noise breaking the bars.
Geo Narancia is up top while everybody else is at the bottom. So really, King Crimson's stand shouldn't have even hit him, because it's too short of range.
Yeah, the range is terrible.
But Geo's up there, so, and you can see the bars are still closed. So he absolutely does break those bars.
So he has to break the bars. He has to do it in a way that nobody notices it.
And, I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. The bars have to disappear.
They can't hit the
So
ground
that means,
because that's also sound.
So that means whenever he did this, whenever he killed Narancia, he also thought, dang, I need to take these bars with me, instead of just letting them clang to the ground. Correct? Am I being correct there, people?
So he has to do all this, and again, within 10
seconds.
10 seconds, he has to do all of this. And nobody has to notice. You have to explain why nobody is noticing in the predestined thing it happening. Because if it's predestined, they should be predestined to react to whatever happens.
Absolutely not. Because King Crimson was predestined to do that thing, and this is the predestined thing of what them not reacting. That's what was predestined.
But that's stupid.
What happened to them was predestined.
That's
King Crimson
so
not actually
stupid.
doing it was predestined, and them not reacting to the thing
That's
actually happened
stupid.
was predestined. Everything was fate. Everything was good.
That's so stupid.
Isn't it just? Isn't it the dumbest thing in the world? Please explain it. Get me on a call with anybody. Please. Because I don't understand, and I want to understand. But the way you guys are explaining it is so ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
Again, we would have no problem if they were just like, I really like part 5. Here's all the good things about it. And you said one of the good things was Fate. I like Fate in part 5, whatever. But if you go, I like it, I have nothing to say to you.
But you go, it's good. It's well explained. It's integral with all the parts of JoJo. You gotta go, hold up a second. How did Narancia die? Well, he just floated up.
He just floated up, the bars broke themselves, he landed there by himself, and nobody heard a thing, and nobody moved.
Okay, within 10 seconds, within King Crimson's incredibly short range, with nobody noticing, with nobody moving, yes, all of these things happened. Okay. Well, if you have to accept that.
Trish, Mr. Trish themselves, not understanding that they did it. All of that.
Yep, all of that.
Okay.
Narancia not yelling.
Yeah.
Not shouting, not wiggling.
Why are these people not making noise?
There's
Again,
no noise.
is it just a simple instant of, I guess that's the time skipping. Because it would be them just standing there. See, this is what... Because if this was the case, that means that when this happened, everybody else has to be fighting Dia. So what happens in that area? Dia never gets hit. Dia is just able to kill Narancia within that time frame and never get hit by Bruno, by Giorno, by Mista, nor by Trish. Not a single hit on him.
Nor by Narancia. Narancia couldn't summon Aerosmith?
None of these, nobody got a single hit on Dia to where he's like, on my arm or something. Nothing. Dia was just able to get up there, break the bars, put Narancia on there, and escape. And he saw he was able to do that, so he just did it.
He saw he was. How did he see him doing that and nobody reacting? That's a problem. Everybody was. You can say like the boat thing where Abakio was just like, don't get off the boat, and then he teleports to the boat. You would think that if the thing that we think happened where he grabs them, breaks the bars and everything, people would be near the bars just like, hey, stop. But they're not.
Yes, because when he skips time and the time we see, they still have it. Narancia still has that candy in his mouth and he goes, oh, I'm already eating it. It's so good.
It happened. He reached out, got the candy and put it into his mouth. Now, when Narancia dies, everybody is still in their exact position. They're arguing over bullets. They're looking around. They're not like, hey, Narancia is being, hey, there's King Crimson. Let's get him.
No, that's the problem. Because King Crimson has removed himself from that timeline. So the thing is still going to happen because he saw it.
Universe 1, where he actually does it.
Okay. No, but in Universe 2, he's removed himself from that timeline. He doesn't do it. Fate does it now.
But the action still happened. So the actions of the other people, Bruno and them, they should have been like, hey, Narancia, it happened because King Crimson did it. So King Crimson had to do it, but he did it and he skipped it and he erased it. So he still did it, but they're seeing King Crimson do it because he did it.
That's the problem. Universe 2 doesn't see him do it. He just stands there, skips the time, and Fate does it.
I thought that he did it.
Yes, but he did it in Universe 1. In Universe 1, he killed he broke the bars, killed Narancia, whether he got hit, whatever.
That universe no longer exists because Universe 2 happens where he is not found out and he is just standing there.
Yes.
That is
Universe 2 is our universe. Universe 1 is the universe where he does the actions he needs to do. He sees it in the projected time. He sees that it happened and he goes, okay, I'm going to skip that 10 seconds. So Universe 1 me still does it, but it happens in Universe 2, and that's why nobody's reacting because nothing in Universe 1 happened in Universe 2. Do you understand how dumb this sounds?
All right.
Jesus Christ, what are y'all talking about?
I understand it and I like it now. It's Fate. I understand. Part 5 is good. Delete all the Part 5 videos. It's good now.
It's good now.
Fate can be changed, but the changing of fate is still predestined. Even the
Then it's not fate being changed. Where's my phone? Because let's just look up the dictionary definition of fate, because I'm sure it's something like predestined and blah, blah, blah. Which means it can't be changed. Otherwise, the change thing is what actually fate is. The development or events beyond a person's control, regarded as determined by supernatural power, blah, blah, blah. Beyond someone's control, fate, yes. They have no agency to do anything. Fate just happens around them. Be destined to happen, turn out, or act in a particular way. I don't care that my phone fell.
You didn't know how to wait for us.
Hey, there we go.
That was a pretty good fate that happened.
Boy, who you telling? Phone's like $700. Oh wait, no, this one's like $1,100.
Diavolo's ability reveals this to us. In order to know what to do next, he is obsessively viewing a premonition of what will happen. While he thinks he is escaping fate, he is still ultimately a slave to it. Fate seems to operate on a principle of what goes up must come down. While you can change fate, it will eventually...
No,
you can't.
No.
While you can change fate, it will eventually not change, and then everything will be back to as it was.
No, because then that's not fate.
Yes, it is. It was just a deviation from fate.
There's no such thing.
There is absolutely a such thing.
There's no such thing.
There is
It's not you taking Route B to get to work.
Can I give you a couple of movies called The Final Destination? What happens there? Mm-hmm. They are fated to die, and then what happens later?
They die.
They die, except for the ones that don't. Because they're just like new life and crap like that, and well, they're gonna die eventually.
Everybody
so
does.
So by old age, there you go. Fate got
Bruh,
you.
Final Destination is just fate being bored.
Basically.
It's just like, oh, they're gonna die, so let's have them die in a different way. But then, doesn't that change the fate of everybody? No, because that was always just the fate no matter what. They were fated to get off the plane. They were fated to have a theater explode.
Actually self-correct in the other direction.
See? It's self-correct.
Diavolo's changing of fate is what made Giorno fated to attain Requiem.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
So
Dia's change of fate
can't be changed, but Dia's changing of fate caused Giorno to get the arrow. But you said it can't be changed. Well,
he did say it can't be changed. We said it can't.
No, he said that it can't be changed. It always diverts back to...
Oh, yeah, it snaps back.
Yeah, you think that you're changing it, but no, it's always just on a predetermined path.
So Gio was always going to get the arrow.
Yeah, so this sentence is just wrong.
Diavolo's changing of fate is what made Giorno fated to attain Requiem. His own meddling in fate is what causes him to have the harshest punishment out of any of the characters. Dio and Diavolo...
So
what has Dia ever changed that he saw? Just give me one thing he saw that he absolutely changed.
Fate. Debate over. Oh, counteract it. Oh, you can't point me.
And Diavolo are
terrible.
The two polar opposites for how to deal with fate. Beyond the obvious naming convention between them, their ideologies are fundamentally opposed. One is obsessed with changing their fate, while the other completely accepts it.
Based on what, sir?
Based on what?
He struggled the last time we saw Dio, as in alive.
Part 3, his last words was, "I can't be defeated. I am Dio. I am Dio." Explode. Why didn't he accept that? Why didn't he go?
I guess this was just fate.
Why wasn't he crushing Jotaro and just going to accept your fate, Jotaro? This is just what's going to happen. No, none of that. Fate.
Both of these, however, are counter to the ideology of our protagonists. While the antagonist's point of view is often fatalist, the protagonists do not concern themselves with what is predestined, but instead doing what they think is right.
But they were predestined to do that, which makes it meaningless.
Yes.
Do you understand that? I hope everybody that talks about fate in part 5 understands that. If everything is determined by fate and predetermined, then everything you like about it is meaningless. Because the characters are just doing what they were supposed to do.
That character did not make that action because of any sort of motivation, any sort of danger, any sort of knowledge, any sort of nothing like that. It was just fated to happen.
So, it's meaningless.
It's just meaningless. It's boring. I hate it.
The most important lessons about fate in the series, that it doesn't matter if fate is altered. One way or another, it will...
It does, because Dia kept doing it and he got punished forever, right?
Oh, whoops.
Isn't that what you just said?
Oh, whoops.
So it does matter if it gets changed, huh?
Oh, whoops.
Okay, just making sure.
He did it the bad way.
Okay, just
Except for
making
the fact that he didn't, because he never changed anything, but he perceived that he did, so fate is just like, because of you perceiving that you changed me, punishment forever.
One way or another, it will end up favoring the just path.
Pause. But Zeppeli accepted his fate to die very nobly to save the world. Mm-hmm. Why wasn't fate just like, okay, I'm going to toss you a bone?
They did. They allowed him to save the world. Name rings throughout the heavens forever. Except he's never talked about again.
So fate only punishes.
Yep.
For transgressions.
Apparently. So with Zeppeli, I guess the world would have ended. But then Dia would have been rewarded. I mean, Dio would have been rewarded. Because if Zeppeli was just like, no, I'm not going to do this, fate punishes him by dying, and then Dio wins. So with the just okay, but here's the thing: you're saying fate is always going to act towards the just part. It's a story. The heroes are always going to win. So you're basically going, the heroes are always going to win because of fate. That's just the way stories are structured. It's not fate laying out a just path. It's not diverting back to the just path. Because fate is an objective source.
It's not that these people are acting correctly and thus they must be rewarded, and these people are acting incorrectly and must be punished.
Fate does not care about what is good and bad because those are human concepts. So why would fate go with a human concept of going, oh, you're killing people? You're doing bad things, so you must be punished. Kira, even though I'll reward you by fixing the situation for you.
By giving you an exact perfect stand that get rid of evidence. By giving you another stand which allows you to rewind time and kill people from across the street.
I'll reward you for that.
But now, for some reason, it's just like...
But now I'm going to abandon you.
I'm done. How does that make sense?
Dia, I'm going to give you the ability to change me. But don't do it.
But don't.
But do not do it. Otherwise, you will be punished.
Fate gave him an ability to change fate. But they're like, this bastard's changing fate. So now we have to wonder, why did fate give him the ability to change fate if it did not want to be changed? Oh, no answer? Oh, please get us in a debate.
But it's not gonna happen.
It's not. It's literally not.
There's almost nothing I wouldn't do.
You saw Oceanus's mentality where he was just like, not even gonna watch it, but y'all do you. Mm-hmm. Oh, y'all must have some iron.
And then he blocked me.
I wonder why. But yeah, that's the mentality. It's like, no, I made my point. Here's my point, and I'm not gonna be challenged.
Same thing with Ram. Just like, if we're wrong, tell us why we're wrong. I am willing to talk all day with you about it.
You have to be able to defend your points. Like the Bleach dudes, they just danced around a bunch of things. It's like,
dance, Gavin, dance, baby.
You're not making any points. You're just excusing stuff. You're not explaining anything.
When I upload this thing, you'll see how quickly when we got to that Soul King part where we're like, oh, that's what it means. Okay, you guys got it. And then you'll see how long they faff about when we talk about the currency of Bleach.
When there's literally like 3 paragraphs on the Bleach wiki.
It will end up favoring the just path. This idea of a right path that the characters are following can even be seen in the most recent chapters of Part 8. In an afterword...
Yeah, by just going the right path for equivalent exchange, that's everything that you need. It's the right path, not the wrong path for equivalent exchange.
Who has had a wrong path for equivalent exchange so far? Who's had a wrong path?
What do you mean?
Who's had the wrong path?
You know.
No, I don't.
You know.
You know is not an answer.
It is for him. He said, look, somebody said the right way. So that means that there is a right way. So that's all that matters. There's a right way as according to him for equivalent exchange, even though he has no knowledge about it. And there's also a wrong way, which we have no evidence on. But, you know, it's probably just fated to happen whatever way.
Afterward, written for Part 5, Araki describes the protagonist's relationship with fate. He says that one of the main themes of Part 5 is the question of how to deal with fate. Just like Dio, Jordan...
Men can't choose how they come into the world. Some of them find themselves in happy families. Others grow up in terrible places from the first moment. So what should this second group of people do? If destiny and fate were something already decided by the gods or some kind of law that makes stars move in our vast universe. So basically, you were grown up and born into a terrible place. What should you do if there's already a destiny that says you have to? If you struggle against it, it
You're
wasn't
punished.
one.
No, you're punished.
Could they ever challenge fate, destiny, and change themselves? This was my most recurring thought. Okay, but if it's fate and if it's destiny and it's predetermined, Araki, no, they can't change them because they were always meant to do that.
And if they try to change it, they are punished.
They are punished!
As you said with Dia. So either it is absolute and unchanging and it's all meaningless, or you try to change it and you are punished for it.
Which is it?
Which is it?
Deal with fate. Just like Dio, Giorno and the other Part 5 characters were born into a sad life where things happen to them beyond their control. How do you deal with something that controls all of existence? The answer the protagonists have is not to try and change fate. They know that their own sense of justice is the only thing they need to be happy. This was supported in Part 6, with the final fate-related revelation. After Pucci had spent so long justifying his horrible actions with the end goal of heaven, he is defeated by Emporio, who understands that fate only follows the path of justice. The fate that exists
Justice
within
is a human
JoJo is the perfect system to
Justice
represent
is a human concept. There's not squirrel court. You stole my nuts. I'm gonna sue you. Justice is a human concept.
story Araki wanted to tell. The mechanics of Fate in JoJo are also far more fleshed out than I've seen in any other series. Despite this, its depth seems to be too often ignored by fans, and the system is at times dismissed by people altogether.
Okay, here's the problem. People dismiss things like King Crimson just erasing time, and because of that, fate happens. They don't dismiss the theme itself, but how y'all work the theme into the problems of Part 5.
How did Nanacha die? Well, he was just fated to die.
That's the problem, not fate itself. Not the characters, not the main character struggling against fate and all that. Even though it's contradictory trying to change fate based on what Dia said. Or what happened with Dia. But how, that's a cop-out just go, hey, fate did it. Like I said, it's just like that Simpsons episode where it's like a wizard did it. Anytime there's an inconsistency or a problem in the story, it was just a wizard. Oh, it was just fate.
And even if it is just fate, that is incredibly, like I keep saying, is boring. It is uninteresting that fate allowed Nanacha to die. Not King Crimson having to think a way around how to kill this person that can spot me almost instantly. It's just fate that allowed him to die and allowed me to cover up the fact that I killed him.
That this video helped you reach a greater understanding of fate, and that in turn, you have a better understanding of the themes it represents in JoJo.
I do.
This was a fun video to do, so if you have a video idea for a similar topic, comment it down below. If you want to be updated on new videos or leave suggestions, join the Hamon Beat Discord using the link in the description.
I will not join that Discord unless he is going to say, I will talk to this person. Because I don't want to invade these people's Discord and just be like, hey, debate me, yo. I'm gonna come off like a duck. Like
completely crappy.
Yeah, it's a crappy thing to do. But if I'm invited...
Yeah, that's why on Twitter I'll see a bunch of tweets that's just like Hunter is the greatest thing ever. I'm like, I ain't got no beef with you. I'm not just gonna be like, no, it's not. Why would I do that?
You can also support the channel on Patreon to receive Discord perks and other rewards, such as uncut music reference videos. And finally, subscribe to the channel for future videos.
I think Oceanus is, but man,
video where I thank my $5 and up patrons.
I'm gonna go $386.
I get the video's over. -10.
Yeah, it's a pretty -10. I don't like these types of videos.
What did you say? How many?
386.
And how much money?
No, that's how many. That's how much money I said.
Okay, how many patrons?
Let's say 100.
Boy, you are way too high. He has 40 patrons and he is making $91 a month.
I mean, that's a nice dinner, pair of shoes.
Where? After
shoes or the dinner?
the dinner. After Patreon takes their cut, talking about $70.
Olive Garden.
That's a nice dinner.
When you're here, your family.
So fairy tale. Yeah.
Dang!
Yeah, no, I'm not going back and forth.
Oh my
with you
goodness, that was fated to happen.
Yeah.
These types of videos that are just like, I'm gonna prove my basically unprovable point with very minute pieces of information and just sort of mush them together. I hate these types of videos.
Fate equals gravity equals time equals fate equals gravity equals time equals fate.
But that's not what the stand description said. So that's not true.
I mean, he put it on the video. How could this not be true? Is this the correct Hamon Beat? What?
Is that Dr. Piss? Oh, this was an older video, by the way. So it could have been dropped off. Yeah, that's the Hamon Beat.
Okay. Yeah, because he has a lot of $5 boys right here, but he has 41 patrons and $91.
Yeah, but he said the most recent chapter, and that how old was this video? Like 2 years old, 3 years old.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe he just fell off.
Yeah, people just drop off. It's nothing.
Yeah, this is a -10.
Yeah, come on with this.
It's a -10.
I'm
DSP, what are you doing?
I'm sick of concepts. Let's just talk about things. Part 5 is bad, absent of fate. Part 1 is good. He didn't talk about fate in part 2.
Where was it?
Hey, let me look that up because I gotta see.
He really didn't talk about fate in part 7 either. And it's definitely during the time of part 8.
Oh, there's a whole fate wiki. Notable examples. Dio's 3 birthmarks on his ear, signifying his destiny as a conqueror and ruler of men.
Wow.
Speedwagon mentions that Jonathan and Irina may have been fated to meet each other.
Wow.
You know, that's Speedwagon, the arbiter of fate. We all know that.
The herald of it.
The idea of gravity laid out by Dio, which designates the fateful meeting that he and his friend Poochie had, though, is
wow.
A prophecy of Zeppeli's death.
Yep.
A prophecy of the Red Stone of Asia being the key to the Pillar Man's rise and downfall.
Sure. That works.
All stand users are drawn to each other, being fated to eventually meet each other.
No. Because it's only stand users in a particular area. Otherwise, Gio would have met Jolene, and all of them would have met.
Toph's primary ability to randomly predict the fates of others. Epitaph's ability to predict 10 seconds into the futures. Rolling Stone's ability powered by fate to hone into whatever. Cinderella's side effect of being able to increase a person's luck, which is generally an effect of fate itself. So fate and Cinderella, that's there. Bites the dust.
No.
Yeah. Bites the dust. Poochie, and that there is no part 7 fate examples.
Wow.
Except for the fact that stand users are drawn to each other.
It was a race around America for like $1 billion.
Yeah, but what was it that caused the stands? Was it like a pit or it was something? It was like a desert storm or something that caused stands. Whatever, that stand was fated to.
I thought it was the corpse of Jesus that caused it.
No, because
I think you're thinking of part 8 with the walleyes.
No, I'm pretty sure. Wait a second.
I do remember a desert thing, though.
Yeah. Let's just go with Tusk.
Yeah, because he didn't start out with Tusk.
Oh my goodness.
Ads and Wikipedia.
Yeah. The Devil's Palm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was an supernatural landform that gave people stands.
Yep, you're right. Okay.
So yeah, it was just fated to they were fated to go into the Desert Storm and get their stands.
Desert Storm. It's
I was about to say I don't recognize that reference.
It's a DJ, DJ Clue. He says Desert Storm a lot because that's like his group.
Okay, that's almost interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Not even almost.
Not even close. Don't patronize me. Don't try to make me feel better. I understand. It was a reference for me and like 6 people in the world.
But yeah, this whole thing, I'd rather see the back of it. I'd rather people just don't even bring it up anymore.
Yeah, I'd rather you just talk about why something is good or bad. And themes can bolster why you think it's good. Like, if it's just like a small part of it, but if it's good because of the theme of Fate and how it ties its thing, or how the theme ties its stuff, no, thank you.
No, none of that.
If it's good and there's themes, rock it. If it's good because of theme, I don't want to hear it. Give me characters, give me plot, give me storylines, give me arcs, give me that type of stuff. Give me fights, anything, action, drama, give me horror, designs.
Not just theme, not just Fate. That's meaningless to me.
And we're out of here. What are we doing next? Not a clue. We can hit up one of them Bakugos.
There's a lot of Bakugos.
There's a lot of Bakugos. Also, Totally Not Mark is not a good creator.
We're a couple videos out. Yo.
You really just want that Hunter Chimera Ant. You say we're a couple videos out, but for all you know, that could be 4 months. Chimera Ant will real long.
He's doing them weekly. And he's he split up York New City into 2 parts. Greed Island was pretty long, so he's probably gonna split that into 2 parts.
Greed Island was short. Really? Yeah, I think it was shorter than York New.
It's pretty long conceptually.
Thematically.
So yeah, we're looking about 3, maybe a month tops, 3 weeks a month tops, before we start getting on that Chimera Ant train. That's what I'm waiting for.
I don't think we'll ever do that video.
I'll do it by myself.
No, the reason I say that is I think it's going to be a lot of him in the beginning just kind of giving synopsises, and then later on in the video, like the last 1/5 of the video is what he thinks about it.
He's good at not giving just synopsises with these Hunter x Hunter things. He explains quite a lot. Okay. From what I skimmed.
Yeah, okay, that's
I'm
skimming.
Like, yawn!
But that's skimming. Like, and this is the thing. I listen to boring YouTubers. I mean, Sean, the way he speaks, and this isn't a put on thing that Sean does. It's just how he speaks, because even at podcasts he speaks like this. He's just very, so you mean to tell me that and it's just, dude, it's so dry and monotonous, but I love his videos because they're well put together, and what he's saying makes a lot of sense. I don't care if you're dry if what you're saying is interesting. You yourself do not have to be interesting. But my God, y'all spitting bush.
It's just,
and so the
let's just give it
prepared to prevent a knife he was stabbed from poisoning his entire body, which is just one of those shonen tough guy acts that I can't help but laugh at. It's just ridiculous. Also,
yeah, I guess
so
we're gonna do
that's another thing that I hate with people when they just go, "Oh, this is ridiculous," instead of going, "It's bad." This is some silly shonen thing instead of going, "It's bad."
It's a bad, silly shonen thing.
Dude is poisoned. He wraps a string of hair around his poisoned wound, and Totally Not Mark goes, "Oh, that's so silly. I can't help but love it." So yeah, let's play it a little bit more.
Krullo mentions that 1/10 of a milligram of this particular poison is enough to paralyze a whale. Which, okay, how does he know this? Is he a scientist, a marine biologist? Does he go around measuring what effects this poison has on the biggest creatures he can find?
Okay, so that's a problem because he gets stabbed with it and he's able to tie it off with just a strand of hair, and it's not affecting him when it can take down, just 1/10 of it can take down a whale. So
but
now we have to go.
Isn't it silly that him
But
measuring
now we have to go.
Poison?
Why is it not affecting him?
Why aren't you laughing? You're not laughing about what Mark says. We're not talking about that part. We're talking about the silly. How does he know that it actually can take down a whale and he's not being hyperbolic?
Let's skip forward a little bit.
When whenever there's a potential combat situation or whenever he's dealing with a foe, Killua always seems to have
Okay,
his
see,
head
he's
screwed
talking
on
about
for the next
Killua's,
logical, powerful Melody's hearing really was, and how the use of it makes her notice how quiet all of Killua's steps really are. She even asks if he's an assassin. It's an interesting character moment, and I honestly thought that was...
Yeah, see, he'll synopsis. He'll give a little bit of synopsis and then what he thinks about it. Oh, this is gonna be so money.
Oh, this is the way Sean talks,
Hello,
by the way.
everyone. Now then, what would you say if I told you that I knew of a very generous Nigerian prince who needed your help to move his vast riches out of his country?
You're saying...
Dude, that's the way he talks through the whole video, every video. And that's just the way he talks in life. In podcasts, that's just the way he talks. But it's interesting. Be interesting.
Ah, it's fine.
So yeah, I don't know what we're doing next.
We never know.
Sometimes
no. But we never know.
And,
we're waiting for who was the person that figured out the thing?
Oh, Morrow or Marlowe or something like that. Morrow, I think it is. We got 2 or 3 people that have very similar names, so it kind of runs together sometimes.
I don't want to disrespect the individual, so I'm going to look for their name.
I mean, you could have just looked at the last part and it's pinned.
Is that the last part?
Yeah.
Is that the last part? Let me just turn this down. That's not the last part. That's part 6.
You trash. You trash.
I don't know how to count. I didn't want you to find out this way. Rollo di Mano.
Okay. I confused the M and the R.
Probably didn't pronounce that right, but close enough. Yeah, we're just waiting on you. Whatever video you want, we're here to
Pick 5 of them and we'll pick one and put them in order of how you would want to see them. And if the number 1 is a series that's like we can quickly get through, we may just quickly get through the series and do it.
Yeah. We got time. We ain't doing nothing.
Okay. Yep. We still need to do our relist stream. Wednesday we're doing the first 3 episodes of season 2 of ReZero. I think we'll live stream that one.
Oh my goodness.
So we could live stream tomorrow, live stream Monday, put this video up Tuesday, live stream
That's
Wednesday.
too many live streams.
How many live streams do you think there should be in a week?
Not that many.
There's 2.
But that's I don't.
That's why I'm trying to separate them.
We can spread them out a little bit.
What's the difference of a live stream and a recording?
Yeah. So spread out the recordings as well. Oh wait, you mean by?
Exactly.
It's a big difference.
I don't think so.
It's a total difference.
Okay.
You're not a person that's like, I don't like being in front of people.
Yes, that's your problem.
Yes.
But you used to do modern dance. How do
Yes. You always bring that up.
And it's always a fact.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna.
How did you even get into that?
I think it was a girl I liked was in it. And then I think she quit. No, it was tryouts, and she didn't make the tryouts, and I made it. I was like, oh no.
See, at least you had choices and things. It was just like, hey Albert, you're Jesse Jackson in this, and I'm like, mother, what for what? I'm just sitting here. I done been on stage like 5 times where it's just like, hey, it's you.
But that was also me when we did the senior Grammys thing, and they were like, King, you got the dreads, you're T-Pain. We got a couple songs that we're gonna be performing. I was like, I can't. I don't know.
You better chop them jazz
Y'all
off
know
there, sir.
me as the quiet guy. You expect me to be hype T-Pain? It was like, King,
Buy me a drink.
terrible experience. People
Was
coming
it?
up to me like, King, didn't know you had it in you. Oh my, because it was just like it's performance mode where it's just like I'm on. I can't.
You gotta shut your brain off and just be a performer.
I'm up there, so I might as well do what I can. Put it all on the line, and then just go back into my shell once it's over. But once I'm out there, I'm like, I'm performance mode, but then it's just like, nope, shut down.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, like, I didn't want to do that. You.
Yeah, but it was so good, my God. Don't look at me. Yeah, this is a little bit of lore from our lives. Dude, I would love to find that tape of that I Believe I Can Fly performance.
Lost to history.
I'm both happy and sad about it. Okay, yeah, we're legit out of here this time.
Also, I've just been staring for the last 5 minutes at Dr. Piss. That's all.
One of these days we're gonna start a Patreon.
I'm not.
I've already got one, but that's just to be a patron. No, that's just to be a patron to certain people. But I might just turn it over and just go creating videos. But I would love to have ridiculous names on my screen. See, I would find the crap funny. I think some of these hoity-toity people would not find it as funny. Legit out of here.